Guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Debsy, and place to be, it's Debsy. Boop, that's me. Boop, Debsy. Hey guys, happy Friday. It's Friday and it is Friday. That means it's vacanza. Oh, the fall weather is going to be falling all over Western Pennsylvania this weekend. I'm gonna go get this. I believe I have a hair appointment, for tomorrow to get this done. Woo, I need it done. So listen, let's talk about this. What we're talking about is this week's episode of Sorority Mom's Guide to Rush. It's episode 4. Wait, yes, it's episode 4. This is on Lifetime. However, here's the thing. I have it DVR'd to record, and it is nowhere on the schedule to be found. So I go on to Lifetime on demand because we have cable. So I watched it through there. So this week is this is the week that I've been waiting for. And why is that? That is because they are going to Alabama for Rush. When I started watching Rush Talk, it was back in 2022. It was, I remember the very first video I watched that got me hooked was, it's the year Kylan Darnell started, the year Kylan Darnell rushed. And what was the outfit? I think it was like a Chanel, was it Chanel shorts and this cute little getup? And I was like, oh, that's cute. Okay. And then I kept then the algorithmed, and it brought me all this stuff for Rush. And that's when I started getting into it. So University of Alabama, as they say in the TV show this week, it is pretty much like the Super Bowl of Rush. It is the largest rush in the country. They have 24 sororities, and they have anywhere between 2,500 to 3,000 young women competing for bids at houses. All these young women hoping to find a forever sisterhood. So I was so excited when I saw that this was going to be the week for Alabama. Okay, so this week I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to go through one person, one young lady, and what happened with her, and another young lady and what happened with her. I'm going to start off with, there were two young ladies, and I'm going to start off with Charlie first. Charlie is from a small town in Georgia, LaGrange, Georgia. She is Miss Georgia Teen. She is in Student Government Association. She does a lot with the March of Dimes, I believe, and she is a leader. Her mother is very involved in her life. It's basically, her and her mom is a package deal. When she talks of her daughter, it's not you won the crown, it's we won the crown, we did this, we did that, we did this. Her mom is also a legacy. Her mom is a Zeta sister at University of Georgia, and I believe like all of her, like her grandmother, her cousin, all these other women in her family were Zeta legacies as well. So Charlie is a pageant girl. She kind of worries about whether or not how she presents herself, if it's going to come off as being fake, because with like I've never competed in a pageant in my life, but with pageants it's all like slick and polished, and you have to say just the right thing and look just the right way. So she's worried about that. Now she does work with Bill. She appears to be kind of like friends with Bill because she is on the pageant circuit, and Bill has a long laundry list of women who he has worked with in the pageant circuit, in the pageant circles and circuit. So they know each other. What he wants to do with Charlie, he wants to get her out of like the pageant response. Like the pageant response is to like almost kind of present yourself as you would at like an interview for a job, but that's not what this is. You have to go from being highly polished and talking about like, all of your accomplishments and how am I going to best represent teens in Georgia. And you have to be a little bit more, you have to be more emotional. You have to show what's underneath all of that. So that's the homework. That's the task that he has set out for Charlie. Now his homework for his mother, because for her mother, the mothers are like, most of, I don't want to say all of the mothers, but most of the mothers in this series have been very hands-on and very invested and like almost as center stage as the young women. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So his homework for her mom is to take the we out of any discussions that she has regarding Charlie. Let this be her own journey alone. Like, this is Charlie's time to shine. She's moving, she's going to Alabama, she's going to be on her own. This is her time to really do this on her own and for her time to shine. And Bill really believes that she can. So they're going through it and they're getting ready. And her mom, and here's the thing that I have noticed. Her mom will mention that she's a ZTA, that she's a Zeta, but she really doesn't push as much as some of the other mothers have. But I love the scene where Charlie sat down with her mom and dad and thanked them for everything that they've done for her and given her the life that she has. And she said to Charlie, her mom said to Charlie that I'm not pushing you to go to Zeta. I want you to find a house that's right for you. This is a place where I want you to feel comfortable and I want you to feel like this is your home away from home. And I want you to be in a house that feels right for you, not a house that would feel right for me, because I'm not there. It's you. And I like that. I love that. Okay, so philanthropy, we know that the different rounds are, we have open house, we have philanthropy. Philanthropy, now, here in Alabama, the max number of houses that you can get, because remember, and at all of the stages, the PNMs or potential new members are ranking each house. However, each sorority house is also ranking each new PNM. So at the end of philanthropy at Alabama, the max number of houses you can get back is 12. Charlie gets 12 houses back. And then after philanthropy, we have sisterhood. And then after sisterhood, we have pref round. Then it's bid. Bid is where, of course, as we all know, that's where everybody gathers. In this instance, it's at Bryant-Denny Stadium. And they count it down and they find out who they're running home to. And then they run home. And in this case, Charlie ran home to FIMU. FIMU, listen, I will never go to Alabama and I will never see these in person, but FIMU to me is the White House. And the reason being is because it is like a huge White House. I want to see if I can find a picture of it. And if I can, I'll put it like somewhere in here if I can find it. It's like massive. So she got FIMU, and I'm so happy that she decided to run to a house that felt right for her. So congratulations to Charlie. Charlie was a lovely young lady, and I hope sisterhood is everything that she is wanting it to be. So yay. Hooray. Okay, next we're going to talk about the other young lady, and this was Bama Morgan. Now, Bama Morgan, she lives in Crestview, Florida, I believe. Yes, Crestview, Florida. This is not Morgan's first time around. Morgan actually rushed. I had to think about this, but Morgan did not rush this year in 25. So they're joining her on her second journey through Rush, which was last season, which would have been 24. So the first time that she rushed was in 2022, because it was not the same year, or it was 2023, because it was not the same year as Kylan Darnell. Yes, the first time she rushed, I believe it was 2023. So when she rushed the first time, she was dropped by all of the houses. I remember I made a video on Bama Morgan, and I was pissed because of the fact that in my mind, I was like, well, it's apparent that they're just dropping her because she's not thin. She's not like typically beautiful. She's not wearing David Nierman and Kendra Scott and all this like expensive clothes. But then we come to find out that, and I don't know if this is true, but this is what I heard. I had heard that a lot of sorority houses were turned off by the fact that she didn't seem to take it seriously enough. Like, from what I understand, she was mispronouncing names of houses, and she didn't seem to really take it seriously. So that is why I had heard that she was dropped. I'm going to talk about something at the end, because I don't want to get caught up in it right now. But so she, and when she rushed the first time, she wasn't even fully, from what I read, she wasn't fully into it. Like, it was her mom. Well, I didn't even have to read this, but I believe that I did read somewhere that she didn't really decide to rush until like 2 weeks before or something like that. And her mom was really the one that wanted her to rush, because when her mom was growing up, she had friends. She had made friends that she still has now. We find out that Morgan she really hasn't had a lot of friends. She was bullied a lot in school. So her mom wanted her to rush so she could make some friends. So that's why she rushed. She didn't receive a bid, and she was heartbroken. And that, as Miranda says in this episode, that sent a lot of middle-aged women out there, we ride at dawn for Morgan. I was one of those women. I was like, listen, I like the fact that she was relatable, chafing, us big girls get chafing. Maybe she just went home the one night and was so thirsty she just chugged some orange juice. Have I ever done that? Sure. And I enjoyed and I liked seeing that. So when I saw that, like, someone who I can absolutely relate to her, because she's not thin, I'm not thin. Was I bullied in school? Yes. Elementary school, middle school? Yes, I absolutely was. You know? So I think that's why when she was dropped, I was like, oh, that's bullshit that she was dropped. But it kind of surprised me whenever she decided to run again. So she's saying, and her mom is kind of like, her mom's not totally on board with her rushing again. Just because of, like, she saw what had happened. And what had happened last year, like, for as many people who were supporting her, there were a lot of other people who were making nasty comments. Here's the thing. Listen, the thing that I find crazy is when, as a 57-year-old woman, I am never going to get on here and be like criticizing some young girl who's going through Rush, because good on you. I could never do it. I could never do it. I think I might have told you my Rush story. I could never do it, okay? I walked out and said no thanks because somebody told me the colors were red, green, and buff. And I said, oh, you mean red, green, and yellow? And they said, it's buff. And I said, oh, forget this. I'm done with it. So anybody who can do that, but I think it's kind of weird though when middle-aged women will get on Rush Talk and will put these girls down. They're just trying to have fun. It's tough. From looking at everything people say about Rush, it's tough. But so she faced a lot of, like, she had her fans and then she had her detractors. She had her fans, she had her haters. But she's saying that she really wants to do it because she wants to meet people and she wants to make friends. So here's another thing that I didn't like. I was not a fan of how she's treated at home. I don't know that a lot of people are going to say this, but I'm sorry, when she was talking to her brother and she said, yeah, there was one time when you just came in the room, looked at me and said, you're fat, and then walked out. And then whenever her mom and dad were talking and he's like, I wish she wouldn't do this. You know, she's setting herself up. She's not a beauty pageant. She's not a beauty pageant winner. I think that's shitty. Listen, as somebody who was told all the time that she's fat and was called I was called fat and every other, you know, synonym that you could use for fat. That hurts. That's shitty. I hated seeing that. I absolutely hated seeing that. But her father was also made a good point there. Her father was like, I think she's going in with one strike against her already. I myself personally, when I heard that she was going to rush again, I thought, I don't know about this, because I think a lot of people already had their mind made up about her, is what I think. And she had a big presence, like a big social media presence the first time. And a lot of that was in part thanks to Brandis Bradley, because Brandis, while she does say, listen, if you're going through Rush, you want to get on my radar, Brandis doesn't have any pull with like getting a girl a bid, but she is someone that, you know, if you're looking to grow your numbers on TikTok, I mean, she will bring eyes to your page. That's, because that's for certain. Because Morgan had said, I owe so much to Brandis because she got me a lot of my followers. And I think that might even be where I saw Bama Morgan the first time. But I agree with her dad, though, that I think going in, it's going to be an uphill battle for her because there might be some houses that have already made up their mind. And she has even, going in, she has an even larger a social media presence. And I don't know, I know back in the day, when I say back in the day, like in 2022, they were like, it was really just blowing up. So I don't know how these sororities feel now about TikTok and social media versus how it was like back in the day, before it really got really, really big, like super big. So I don't know. I think she going in, she has strikes against her. And like I said, though, I myself don't understand why she would want to do it again, because there's one part where she looks at Reddit and there's people talking ish on her. So I don't know why you would even like want to sign up for even more of that, because you have Reddit, you have people commenting on TikTok. I almost said TikTok on TikTok. And then they have a thing called Yik Yak. From what I understand, it's anonymous and it's about sororities and fraternities. And it can get kind of nasty from what I understand. So I just don't understand why you want to do it. I myself don't understand why you want to do it, but I get why she's saying she wants to do it. She wants to make friends. So she flies out to Nashville. She's not working with Bill. She is working with Brandis, which I think makes complete sense because she needs a female who is going to inspire some like self-confidence and some self-love in her, and someone who can work on the inside, but then also work on the outside. Because Brandis, she was an attorney, but I also believe her handle is lawyer and makeup artist, I think. And so she can work on her outside as well. So she flies out to meet Brandis in Nashville. She says she doesn't feel like she's worthy of it. As soon as she said that, I was like, well, there's 3 reasons. Because number one, at home, you're being told, hey, you're fat. Hey, you're not the prettiest. When people tell you that growing up, you really do feel like you're not worthy of good things. I can attest to that. Number 2, what's said, I think the number 2 reason is because I think of what she sees that's said online about her, and number 2, what the bullies have said to her. So I think because of all that, that's why she doesn't feel worthy. It's going to be tough to get her to have self-confidence or self-love. But they work on that. They work on her. They do her makeup. They do her hair. She looks beautiful. Then she goes to school. I'm going to tell you though, the one thing that I was not a fan of, of the dress, the blue dress. She was like, I finally see a sorority sister. I thought it was kind of like Mother of the Bride-ish. I thought her hair looked beautiful and her makeup beautiful. So she goes off, she's doing philanthropy. They had side by side the look from the first year of philanthropy to the second, and it was like night and day. It was fantastic. So in the first time that she pledged, or that she rushed, her mom wasn't there, but this time she was there just because of how it happened. So Morgan did get one school back. She got back Tri-Delt, and from what I understand, Brandis had said Tri-Delt is like one of the top houses at Alabama. It doesn't have a huge social media presence like Zeta or like Phi Mu. So this was after philanthropy. Then here comes sister. Her and her mom are laying in bed, and she's like, I hope I get dropped for sisterhood. This is exhausting. So she gets a call. She gets a text message, and then she gets a call, and she is dropped. So she's dropped, but she didn't really seem too upset by it. I'm thinking maybe she like got out all the emotions over it last year, and maybe she kind of went in thinking partly like, I don't know, maybe I have a long shot. But once again, I think a lot of these houses already had their mind made up about her. And I agree with Brandis. Brandis was like, Morgan just wasn't meant to be a sorority girl. I don't think she was. And I don't think that's a dig against her at all. Listen, there's a lot of us who weren't made to be sorority girls. This one right here. But here's the thing. She now has self-confidence. And guess what? She ended up making friends. So she doesn't even need a sorority. The thing is, to me, if you're, I myself couldn't be in a sorority, because if I want to make friends, I don't want to have to pay large sums of money to have those friends. And I also don't want there to be like a whole bunch of rules to have the friends. You know what I'm saying? So that, to me, you know, but she wasn't picked up by anybody, and she made friends. Now, the only thing that I'm going to say about Bama Morgan, I kind of wish she would now just exit sorority talk, like rush talk, whatever. Because, I mean, she can talk about like what it's like to go through rush, but I feel like I don't want to say she's making this a large part of her brand, but I mean, she is a very intelligent girl. She's charming. She is funny. She's smart. And she got it together. I don't know that she necessarily has to continue talking about rush. And this past season, she got tied up in a lot of drama with the Darnell sisters, which brings me to another thing. The thing that kind of got me was this season, Izzy Darnell, who is the little sister of Kylan Darnell, she is going to the University of Alabama, and she made it known that she's going to be rushing. She went to Alabama with a very large following. I believe she might have 1 million followers, but what Kylan was polished, Kylan was darling, Kylan was pageant, you know, like she was the top PNM for 2022 for a reason. It was because she was just perfection, like pageant perfection, you know, polished pageant perfection. And then the other side is Izzy Darnell. She's loud. She is very controversial. She has said some things that I'm not a fan of. She to me is a rule breaker. So when she was saying that she was going to rush, I was like, I don't know if this is for real serious or if this is just to make content. And when I watched her videos, I didn't get the feeling that it was that she was taking it seriously. That being said, if Morgan was dropped because she wasn't taking it seriously, then why wasn't Izzy dropped? I mean, Morgan has more of a face like this. I mean, no, Morgan doesn't have a fat face like this, but Morgan is not thin. On the other hand, Izzy Darnell is blonde, is gorgeous, I mean, Morgan is gorgeous. Morgan is beautiful. But Izzy Darnell is like the stereotypical, tiny waist, blonde hair, So, from what I understand, Izzy Darnell dropped out herself. But Morgan was dropped. So, I think that's shitty. I think that's real shitty. So, listen, this is, I knew this was going to be all over the place because, like I said, the school that I follow for Rush is Alabama, and like I said, I followed Bama Morgan's journey from the beginning in 2023. So I was waiting for this episode to come up. So listen, Charlie, she found her sisterhood at FIMU, and good for her, awesome for her. But this episode showed that not everybody is cut out for sisterhood, for sorority life. And that's okay because Bama Morgan, she was cut for a second time, but she found her friends, she found her people, and it might have made her a little tougher skinned, might have made her a little more resilient. So listen, if you watch this week, please let me know. And like I said, if you want to watch this, you have to go on to, I feel like you have to go on to Lifetime On Demand. That's the only way I can find it. It's usually on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock on Lifetime. Okay, so in the comments, let me know if you watched and what you thought. And if nobody told you yet today, you're loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in the world so it comes right back at you. Please take care of one another and let's spread kindness because it is free. Please be aware of your surroundings, be smart and safe. Let's hydrate with some water. And if you're in a dangerous situation, please know that Dolly and I are sending our love, thoughts, prayers, and positive energy your way so you make it through. Love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.